Welcome to Cross Border Interviews. Our goal is to create meaningful municipal conversations that inform, connect, educate, and strengthen communities from coast to coast to coast here in Canada. Now, for this edition of Cross Border Interviews, we sat down at the most recent SUMA Convention in beautiful Regina with Village of Chaplin, Saskatchewan Mayor Terry Gabel. Established in 1912, the Village of Chaplin is conveniently located along the Trans-Canada Highway, just over 80 kilometers from both Moose Jaw and Swift Current, at the junctions of Highway 1, 19, and 58. Chaplin is also a major Shorebird stopover point. The Chaplin Lake area is a designated Western Hemispheric Shorebird Reserve Network site. Starting in the early spring, you can catch a glimpse of a variety of shorebirds in the surrounding area or from the lookout at the Chaplin Nature Centre. This is Cross Border Interviews.
You stepped up to serve your community. Now take your leadership to the next level. Introducing GEMS, Governance Essentials for the Municipal Sector, a practical, Saskatchewan-based training program designed for council members and those who support them. Whether newly elected or a seasoned leader, GEMS helps sharpen the skills that matter most: decision-making, accountability, financial stewardship, infrastructure oversight, and navigating the complex realities of municipal governance. This isn't your typical classroom. GEMS is flexible, online, and built for busy people. You don't need a university degree, just a commitment to good governance. For some, it's been years since taking a course. That's okay. GEMS is designed to build confidence and knowledge. There is a short assessment, but it's there to reinforce your learning, not to trip you up. If cost is a concern, talk to your administrator, as there may be grants available to offset some of the costs. Because when local leaders grow, entire communities benefit. GEMS, because good governance isn't just important, it's essential.
From the smallest villages to the largest cities, every day your urban municipality supports you. The water that travels from tap to sewer, the emergency services that keep you safe, the parks, libraries, and rinks that you enjoy. Our cities, towns, villages, resort villages, and northern municipalities are urban hubs bringing people together. We are urban. Celebrate your municipality as part of the urban family.
Terry, thank you so much for sitting down with us here in beautiful Regina at the SUMA Convention.
Yep.
Got to start with a simple question. Where does your sense of duty to serve your community come from, Terry?
Wow, that is not as simple as it sounds.
Well, it's a simple question that I get to say, and then you get to give me the complex answer.
It actually goes back a long way to before 2000, when I was living in the city of Moose Jaw, and I started working for a local monthly newspaper. And I originally was just writing book reviews for them, and eventually I started doing a few other things, and including reporting, and so I started covering council, and as I was covering council, I got more and more interested in it. So I guess it grew from there.
So, as a former reporter myself, still semi-reporting, but there's always that political draw when you're reporting on something, right?
Yes.
You're always thinking, I could do it better. Oh, why aren't they doing it this way? But I have to be unbiased. So,
Yeah.
Looking at that first moment when you decided to put your name on the ballot in Chaplin, I'm assuming?
No, actually, I did run in Moose Jaw.
Okay, so that first time in Moose Jaw and then that second time in Chaplin, what was going on in the community that you said, this is why Terry's voice needs to be at the council? Or was there an issue, or was it just, and I'm saying this as nice as I can, Terry,
Yeah.
was it a little bit of ego?
The primary issue that got me to run was the lack of transparency that was happening in the city. And I noticed after my first time trying to run and not making it, but transparency being my big issue, the next election, it was everybody's issue. So I at least made that impact.
Wow. So was transparency an issue out in Chaplin when you moved there and you started to run there, or when you put your name on the ballot for councillor in Chaplin?
No.
What was the issue in Chaplin or was it just a desire to serve Chaplin that has become your second home?
It was more, I moved out to Chaplin because that's where my partner was born and grew up. And she was working a job where she could work from home. And I was only working part-time in Moose Jaw. And most of that time I didn't have to actually be physically in the city. So we decided we'd move outside the city. So we moved back to where she was from. And it was actually her mother who pushed me into putting my name in. I had only been there for 1 year at that point. I didn't think anybody knew who I was. She pushed me to put my name in, so at the last minute I threw my name in. I think there were 9 people running for 4 positions, and I finished 4th. So.
Wow. So at what point in time, because I remember when I moved to a different municipality and I ran for council, and there was always that thought of, oh, I'm an outsider, I'm an interloper, like you said, like no one's going to vote for me because they don't know who I am. But when you were campaigning and talking to people, were they willing to say, oh yeah, you might have only been here for a year, but we're willing to listen to you? Did you get a sense that the community accepted you even though you had internalized that, oh, I'm just a new person, so no one's going to vote for me?
I actually didn't get a chance to do very much campaigning at all. COVID
election, that's right. Oh,
yes.
Sorry, I don't know why I was really excited about that, but okay, continue.
So I put out a flyer actually my mother-in-law pushed me to put out a flyer.
I feel like I should be interviewing your mother-in-law.
I wish you could.
Oh.
Yeah, she passed away a couple of years ago, but she pressured me to put out a flyer, so I did, and I got a few phone calls from that, but I didn't get a chance to go out and actually meet people. And I'm still learning who people are. And
welcome to being in politics.
Yes.
You will learn that these name tags are a saving grace.
Yes.
So
yes.
I want to turn to council as a whole for a second, if you don't mind.
Okay.
If you do not know this, after 6 years of being on council, I'm going to burst your bubble.
Okay.
100% of the people will never agree on the issues that you vote on. 100% of the people of your community will never agree that council isn't going in the right direction.
Right.
You talked about transparency. How do you make the decisions that you need to make around the council table, knowing that you're going to upset some people no matter what the issue is?
One of the advantages of being an outsider, having only lived there for 8 or 9 years or whatever it is now, is that I don't necessarily know what's going to upset who. I know every decision we make is going to upset somebody. I learned that long before I entered politics. And
as a reporter,
I learned that there's no way to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
When I did my first term as a counselor, the person who had become mayor at that time had never done it before. And I sat down with him and I had that exact same conversation of, look, you have to know now that in the next 4 years, you're always going to have somebody upset with you. And him having lived in the town and his family being around that town, and his extended family being all over that town, I think that really impacted him, where it has less impact on me. And it gives me an advantage in that my focus primarily is what is best for Chaplin.
Is it hard to think of that way all the time?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. When you think of what's best for Chaplin around that council table, you know that you're not the lone voice. You have
Right.
other people, other council members, and you
Yes.
need a majority. Now, while we say 100% of the people will never agree, council tries to form a good governance structure where
Right.
we're always looking at it after the greater good. But sometimes council members can disagree. And
Absolutely.
they can bring different perspectives. When you walk into that council chambers, how important is it to be open to being persuaded by a fellow councillor on an issue that they believe is passionate and they believe is the right path forward, and you say, oh, I didn't think about it that way? Do you find yourself needing to always try to keep an open mind?
I honestly think that that doesn't happen enough. I would love to see that happening more. Even when I was just observing in Moose Jaw, one of the things that always bothered me was in Moose Jaw it'd be 7-0 votes, 7-0, 7-0, 7-0. And I thought, somebody's got to disagree with something. Where is that? Why is that not happening, you know?
It goes back to that transparency issue, right? Because
Yeah.
I covered a council that was very similar, and then we heard reports after the mayor got defeated in an election that all the decisions and all the arguments would happen in the before meetings.
Right.
And then they would just sort of rubber stamp it right afterwards. And you get that sense that,
Right.
oh, are they doing stuff behind our backs that they're not actually disagreeing? Because not everyone can be disagreeable on
Yes.
an issue.
Well, and the other part is you may have a councillor who is uncomfortable disagreeing,
That's true.
being the lone voice, and I try to encourage them to speak up. I know
But sometimes they
sometimes they won't.
and it takes a while I'm not sure how long some councillors have been on Chaplin Council, but sometimes it takes 1 or 2 terms to get under the belt to say,
Yeah.
okay, now I feel like I can actually say my piece and not feel
Yeah.
so guarded with what I actually believe in.
But we have a really good mix right now. We have I have 4 councillors and myself.
So there's 5 altogether, right?
So there's 5 altogether. One of the councillors has been there a little less time than I have, and the rest are all local families, and so they bring the history and the knowledge to the table for us, which is really beneficial. And we have that perspective of, okay, I understand the history, I understand what's going on now that you're telling me, but how does that impact what's best for the community?
I want to turn to the community as a whole now, but before I
Sure.
do this, I have a bit of a preamble, because if I don't say this, I'm going to get at least 1 or 2 emails from someone, maybe not be Chaplin, but
Okay.
someone. This is a conversation between the mayor and myself. This is not a motion of council, not a policy of council, not a direction of council, not even a suggestion of council. This is his opinion and his opinion alone. He needs a majority of councils, as he just said. There are 5 members, so he needs 3 members of council to vote in favor or against any motion, policy, or bylaw to direct administration to implement said motion, policy, or bylaw. With that being said, again, this is the mayor's opinion.
Thank you.
I've done this a few times. Mayor, in your opinion, as of recording this in the middle of April 2026,
Right.
what do you see as the biggest challenge Chaplin is facing today? Or challenges?
I think we're facing the same challenges that every small community is facing in that
Is it
to
viability?
survive, we need growth. And growth means we need to bring in business and we need to bring in people.
What's the population right now of Chaplin?
222.
What's the ideal population?
I don't know that there is an ideal population.
Okay, then-
As a community grows, it's always going to need that growth. It's kind of a,
So then can I add, then the next logical question would be, can you technically handle growth if a developer comes to you tomorrow and says, I want to build 100 houses in Chaplin?
all right.
Could you handle that with the infrastructure that you currently have?
100 houses?
Yes. Okay, let's drop that to 50.
Drop it to 50? I would do everything in my power to make it happen.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
Would your community be behind that?
I think most of them would.
Knowing that 100% of the people would
Right. And it depends why the developer wants to come in and do that. I'm making the assumption on this question that the developer is somebody who has looked at the community and thinks that it's viable for them to do this
Yes.
development. So if they have the opinion that it's viable to do, I think that's wonderful, because it's not just my opinion that we can grow. Somebody else has got that opinion too, and they're the ones investing in it. I will do everything I can to make it happen.
There's a lot of NIMBYism in Canada right now, and don't grow because I've moved to a small town because I want the small town feel.
All right.
Now, you're right. If you do not grow, you're going to become stagnant, and then developers are just going to overlook you, or businesses are going to overlook you. In your time in office so far, I know we're just halfway through your current term, as your first term as mayor,
Right.
are you getting a sense that the council and yourself want to see the betterment of the community, whether that be through business development, economic development, housing growth, and are you laying the groundwork today for a future growth opportunity for tomorrow?
I think council in general wants to see the growth, wants to see the community prosper. One of the big things that we have in town is the Nature Centre.
Yep. Beautiful center, FYI. Everyone should see it in the summer after the May long weekend, once it opens.
I believe it opens May 11th this year.
May 11th, everyone should go see it.
But we are basically the only inland place where shorebirds
Yep.
stop. There's one in the Bay of Fundy in the east, and there's one somewhere in BC in the west. And then we're the only inland one where the shorebirds stop because we have the salt water.
Okay, so thank you for bringing that up. Every time I go through Chaplin, I always ask myself, what is the white stuff in Chaplin? Is it actually salt?
It's sodium sulfate, so it is a type of salt.
Okay,
It's not table salt.
thank you. Because there's been many arguments in my about if it's table salt or not. So thank you so much. Told you. So looking at that tourism draw, because that is
Yeah.
a tourism draw, right? And tourism is economic development. I don't care who you are.
Absolutely.
It is an economic development. Is Chaplin on the map when it comes to sort of birders and the aviation community who want to come and see so many inland birds, and you get to see it in?
We are known worldwide. We have people coming from across the world.
So you need a motel or a hotel to see.
Oh, desperately.
Because I can
During,
imagine-
during that season, we desperately need someplace where people could stay, because right now the closest they can stay is Caronport, which is just outside of Moose Jaw, which is almost an hour away.
Motel 6, if you're listening to this, do it. Because I'd
But-
stay there.
But it's only for that season. That's the problem for a motel is,
Well, most hotels are mostly seasonal as well. Like the Banff, you're not
To a point, yeah.
Like to a point, I agree.
Yeah.
But tourism is an economic draw, and a lot of
Yep.
communities benefit from it. They just
Yep.
need to utilize it in a
Yep.
way that they can do it properly. And
yeah, I would love to see someplace, and we are working on trying to find ways to at least accommodate a family or two here or there if somebody has a house to rent or something. We're actually in the process of trying to improve the experience at the Nature Centre. But yeah, we have people come. I think last year I was going through the guest book that we had, because we have a guest book there and people sign the guest book, and we had Argentina, we had Germany, we had a bunch of actually European countries. We had
wow,
people
probably
from
saw my name
everywhere.
if there a few.
Pardon me?
Probably saw my name. You just don't realize it yet. So now you have to go back and
That's
say,
possible.
did Chris actually sign this? Before I let you go, I just have one big question to ask you, and then I have my final question.
Okay.
Are you optimistic about the future of Chaplin? Knowing that you have issues, knowing that there's challenges, but it seems like, and this is an outsider's perspective
Right.
saying this to the mayor, and I'm not trying to blow smoke, seems like you have the right vision for the community. It's just you need things to start falling in line to make that vision happen. Are you optimistic that that can happen?
I am optimistic that it is possible. I believe, oh, I'm going to get in trouble for this. I believe it's not something the province necessarily wants.
You're not the first to say this on this show, so do
Okay.
not think that you're alone
The,
there.
the currently communities under 100 have been financially forced to join their local RM rather than maintain their own municipality status. It is now creeping up into the hundreds, 120, 130 people are being forced to have that happen. And if we are going to make this happen and make this work, we need to make it work before that creep gets to us.
You can do it. I believe in you.
I'll do my best.
So it brings up to the last question, and it kind of serendipitously works with what you just said. What makes Chaplin such a great place to live, to work, and to raise a family?
I think one of the best things about Chaplin is it's so perfectly situated.
Yeah.
It is along the number 1 highway. It has a K-12 school. It is just under an hour from Swift Current and just under an hour from Moose Jaw. An hour and a half to Regina, 2 hours to Saskatoon. Not much further than that to Medicine Hat. So we're not that far away from major places if we need it, but it's far enough away that if you wanted to, you could commute. I mean, there's people in larger cities who have longer or more time in their commutes than the 3/4 of an hour to get to Moose Jaw or Swift Current. There are places in between as well that work is possible. And one of the main reasons we moved out there was the housing was so much cheaper.
And that's always a big draw for a lot of people, particularly right now.
Absolutely.
Well, Mayor Terry, thank you so much for sitting down with me. This has been an honest to goodness pleasure, and I got to talk to someone that I get to visit their community every single time I drive by it. So thank you so much for doing this.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Cross Border Interviews. Now, this edition of the show was brought to you in sponsorship by the Johnson Shayoma Graduate School of Public Policy. Our goal on this show is to create meaningful conversations that inform, connect, and strengthen communities from coast to coast to coast. Now, if you found value in today's discussion, please take a moment to subscribe to the show, leave a review, and share this episode with your community. And if you are a municipally elected official with a story to tell, insights to share, or ideas worth spotlighting, we invite you to be part of the conversation. Reach out to us today by visiting crossbordernetwork.ca and learn how you can take part in an upcoming episode. So until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll be back with a new episode of Cross Border Interviews soon.